we're going to begin modifying this model to include an open population with the prospect of very quickly going on to a communicable disease model, okay, which is going to be rather different. So let's go to this model that we've built up, and I'm going to actually save a version of it. So, I'll call it V1 closed population. Now, you notice when you do save as in any logic, it shows something which is disconcerting, to say the least. It shows you a model time units again, and these model time units are once again reset to seconds. I have not found any indication that actually this is implemented at all, but I will often go change it back to the correct one, just in case. I don't believe it's operational. In other words, if I saved it as milliseconds or years, I don't think it makes a difference for doing save model as. Doing the first time with a model makes a world of difference, but doing it save model as to save successive versions, I have no indication that it makes any difference what you say there. Okay, so
Sorry, what was the folder called? Models built in class?
It was models built in class, yeah. So Alan, it's under the URL that I provided, the tiny URL, and here let's be clear. It's under first participant resources, and then models built in class. Yeah. Oh, it isn't. Okay, maybe they fixed that, because you may have a more recent.
7.3 PLE.
Yeah. So probably they fixed it. They probably realized there's a problem with this. I'm running 7.1.2.
I've been using the 7.3, and it's not coming
there.
out.
Good.
Okay.
Good. So they fixed that. It's a problem. It's misleading.
Yeah.
Sorry? They would be, it's a good question. They would be up at the top. You'd have to scroll up to the right. Is it the model that you loaded from the site?
Yeah.
Okay. Alan, could you help? So the pie charts, if you load the model that I posted, they're up to the upper right off the top. When you first open it, you may see something like this, and they are to the upper right. You got it? Great. Okay. Great. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, so we are going to I'm going to actually save this, and I'm going to call it open population, just in prep for the stuff that I'm going to be doing now. I saved the existing one. Now I'm going to start working off of this one. It'll be called V2 open population. Okay?
So should we be doing that, or we just keep
If you'd like to, the main reason I'm doing it is so I can distribute it and people have access to it at different stages.
Now, if it's not giving us the save as option, should we just change something and then change it back?
No. Yes, thank you. If it's not letting you save as, yes, you have to frob something.
Do you have that string you were going to give us, or is it?
I did figure out how to do that. It wasn't as elegant as I would have liked. My memory was playing tricks with me. I thought as of 7.1.2 it was made easier, and it turns out it's easier in other contexts, but not there. So I decided while I've given it to you in this model, I'm actually using that another way of doing it. I decided I'm not going to feature it because it's not so beautiful that it merits being an exercise. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, what we will do now is in quick succession, we're going to add several features of an open population. Okay, so feature 1, we are going to add immigration into this population.
Has everybody got their model open?
Yep, most people I think are just operating off the model they built this morning, which is fine.
I don't see models open on this. Close?
Okay?
I didn't change it.
Everybody has the model open and ready to go?
Yeah.
Sorry, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
When you're saving an existing model to a different name,
Yes.
do you have to update the Java package name?
No, you don't. But
Because it's referencing.
I say you don't have to, but if you want to be able to simultaneously have loaded the earlier version and this new version, then you will want them to have different package names, or else they'll fight with each other. In which case, you could change the package name and it'll be fine. But if you leave it unchanged, what will happen is if you try to load in the old version of the model, it will kick the new one out and vice versa. It will warn you. It says, it's loading it with the same package name or something like that, and it will say I can only have one of them occupied at the same time. It's a little bit like the OK Corral, or Dodge City. One of us, it's only room enough in Dodge City for one of us. But if you change the package name, it's fine. Okay, yeah. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, first we're going to add immigration, and how we do this is going to expose you to a different construct than we've used already. And this construct is one of the most important ones in any logic, and it is called an event. Okay, so we're going to go to main, and let me ask you this. So we're going to put in functionality so that the population is going to now have immigration occurring. Do you think the mechanisms for that should live in person or in main? In main.
Because that's where population is.
Yes. That's where the population is. And the point is there's nobody existing in the model right now who's going to be modified by this. It's not like there's someone who gives birth or something and they're already a person in the model. If it were something like that, we might put it in person. But in this case, it's an immigration of a person who doesn't exist yet. So it's most convenient to put it in main. Okay, it's not a function of someone who's already in the population, but of the population as a whole. So let's put it in main. So it would be different if we were simulating, immigration of families and, existing family requests, immigration of a family member. There we might have some logic in person. But for now, let's go to main. Let's go down main. Okay, and in main, we're going to go to palette, and we're going to go to the agent area at the palette with the Da Vincian emblem, once again, the measure of man, okay? This red emblem. Okay, and I'd like you to drag in event, ladies and gentlemen. And this event is going to be called immigration event. We're going to see events are some of our most useful constructs for reporting, for example, for triggering actions at certain times. In this case, it's going to be an immigration event. Now, when a person immigrates, we're going to do something. Now, when we add an event conceptually, despite its name, which is a bit confusing, it can represent a single event or a whole schedule of events, okay? And it often represents an event schedule. In this case, we're going to set it to trigger type, not one timeout, but instead we're going to set it to a trigger type of a rate. It's going to be occurring at a certain rate. The inter-arrival interval between those events is going to be independent and identically distributed. So it's a Poisson process. There's going to be arrivals with a certain lambda, a certain hazard rate. You're going to see arrivals. So time between events is exponentially distributed. It's memoryless for those are useful comments. We're going to drag into main a parameter that's going to specify the immigration rate. How many people per year come in? So to do that, we're going to go to our palette here, agent palette, and we're going to drag in immigration rate. Okay? And the default value of this, ladies and gentlemen, will be, let's say 100 people per year. Okay? 100 people per year. Immigration rate. Well, okay, the population size is already small enough, 100, so let's make it 10 people per year, so it's less overwhelming. Okay?
Would you want that as an integer?
Very good question. Very good question. It's a rate.
Yeah.
It's people per year, so it could be
Yeah.
10.5, because it's, you could have, on average, very easily 10 or 11 people. So, yeah, it's a rate. It's a per unit time rate. And if it were measured in months, it would be different. It would be, if it was a per year rate. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to highlight a nice feature of AnyLogic. It's a feature that, if misunderstood, can cause great harm, because it's not brought to the fullness of what it could be by AnyLogic team, which has me, which elicited some displeasure from me when I discovered it. But I'm working on them. This, we can choose. We can make it a double precision value, but we could actually make it a rate. Okay, a rate here. In which case, we can specify, we want it specified on a certain base. I'm going to say it's a per year rate. Per year rate, okay? So this captures the fact that, yes, it's a certain rate per year. Now, when immigration occurs, ladies and gentlemen, the rate is going to be given by that immigration rate. So we've just set up the parameter. We made it a rate, unit per year, default value 10. We could have made it a double and just left it like that. But now we're going to go up, but I made it explicit that it's a per year rate. And then over in the immigration event, the trigger type is going to be rate, and the rate on a per year basis is going to be immigration rate. Now, it's very tempting to think that if you specified something else here, like a per month rate, or if in an immigration rate we specified a different rate, it would automatically convert it. And unfortunately it doesn't, from what I can tell, okay? Which is too bad. It would be really sweet if it converted it. And they got to do it. I mean, there's no reason not to do it, but they haven't gotten around to it. Okay, so this is a rate, goes off with immigration rate. Okay, now, the question is, what's going to happen when this goes off? This events exist to be triggered. So an event triggers. This represents a whole schedule of events at a certain rate. And the question is, when one of them happens, what's going to need to happen? What's the action going to be? Can anyone tell me? What do you think the action will be? Yeah, we're going to create a new person in the population, right? Okay. So let me show you how you do that. Perhaps this is the moment you've been waiting for. We have to ask the population. The population is responsible for keeping track of people. So we ask the population. Oh, excuse me. Oh, word only so nice. We have to do add underbar name of the population. Sorry. Add underbar population. And why is it asking for initial state?
So knows where to put them.
Well, it's because
Is this reset every year?
it's because basically to create this person, it needs to know assumptions about this person. And in person, what am I? Oh man, I just okay. I just triggered something untoward. I started the debugger, which is not what I intended. So forgive me as I that was really interesting. It was not what I intended. Okay. Okay, I want to stop it. Why has it gone to debugging perspective here? Okay, this could happen to you. Okay, so, okay, wind chill. Help. Okay, how do I get out?
Deploy.
Yeah, deploy is right. So how do I get out of debugging perspective? I'm not even running the model.
No.
So this is really interesting, isn't it?
I have some gig way to get out of it.
You just have to close debug in the right point.
I do. It's just, yes, so I could just ignore it
I
and
also do.
do this, and I
That'll
could
be really
get
nice.
get rid of that, but it's disconcerting.
I was thinking there
Isn't there something in the upper right? Yeah,
There
I
should be
think.
something here.
Okay, let's go.
That's you to choose.
Okay, yeah, that was my recollection too. There's something in the upper right of mumble. Mumble. Okay, Well, I'm not terribly worried about it. I mean, closing those windows, it gets us where we need to go. But it's weird, isn't it?
Right. I have a super long way to solve this, but I'm not quite sure there's a good place to show that. You can.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to do it?
What? Do I want to reload the model?
No, not really load.
I could close it and reload it. Okay. Reset. Oh, no. We don't want to do that.
Wait, not reset.
Okay. Yeah. No.
No, this is yeah. No,
No.
this is a professional.
Yeah, it's professional. So let's close this model and reopen it. And I think that will do just dandy. Okay, now we're in great shape.
That's the civil engineering approach versus the computer science approach. Brute force. We'll just.
Yeah. One is I must say the prospects of doing brute force. My tendency in that direction is very modest or minimal normally, but if I'm in front of a large group of people and I know that I can get it done that way, I will sometimes exercise that option. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I must have pressed the wrong key. Okay, so we just went and we added them into the population, and I was asking, why is it demanding initial state? It's because it...
Set that in the population?
Yeah, everyone who gets created, we need to know what initial state they're in. That's their parameter, ladies and gentlemen.
So how does it look if you have more than one parameter? Say if we have gender.
It would request each of them.
It would just be commas separating each in order?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct. For person, if it had multiple parameters, when I create it there in main, okay, now I'm gotten a bit crowded here. If I create it in main, right here, then it would be, one and then another. And it actually tells you what it needs. So if you look at this, it'll say it needs an initial state. It would tell you it needs this one and then that one. Now, you'll notice that you can do it with no information provided, in which case it uses the default mechanism, okay? But here we could specify the initial state. And maybe we say that, all immigrants coming in are normal and underweight. Or maybe we draw from a distribution for immigrants, right? Sure, let's do that. So let's go to main.
That's what Poland does.
Yeah, so let's go to main, and let's add into main a custom distribution for immigrant weight distribution, okay? There's initial weight distribution, which would be for people born, for people who start off the model, but then we're going to, ladies and gentlemen, add in a new custom distribution. You notice my palette is missing, so I'm going to go add it back here. Just use the view menu palette. Okay, so here we go. Custom distribution, and this will be immigrant weight distribution. Okay, great. Immigrant weight distribution, and we'll have here a different weight. So this is an options, and the option list is initial state, and maybe we'll say amongst immigrants, 85% are normal and underweight, and well, no, that's too high. Maybe it's 70%, and then overweight it's 0.25, and obese it's 0.05. So now we have an immigrant weight distribution that's different. And when we add this person into the population to draw their weight, we would draw it from this distribution rather than from the general one. Does that make sense? Okay, so what did I do? I went in here to the palette. I went to custom distribution. I dragged that in to main, and I set it to be an option-based distribution over options. So we're going to get an initial state back. The option list is initial state. And ladies and gentlemen, the data for it, normal and underweight, sorry, this is the wrong one. This is it, immigrant weight distribution. Options, initial state, normal and underweight 0.7, overweight 0.25, obese 0.05. Are we okay with that? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, so immigration event, we are going to draw from the immigration weight distribution. How do we do that? Yes.
Is your initial weight distribution incorrect? I know you're making changes before, but it says that normal underweight is 1.0, but shouldn't be 0.0.
No, that shouldn't be 1.0. It used to be 0.6, I think, right? I think I was futzing with it at one point, and then I decided I had a different idea, and I didn't fix it. It's a abject lesson. Okay, thank you. Okay, immigrant weight distribution 0.7, 0.25, 0.05. Immigration event needs to do what with that distribution? It needs to draw from it. So how do we draw from it? Immigration weight distribution. Yeah, and then we do begin paren, end paren. Okay, so let me ask this. Is a semicolon needed here?
Yes.
It is. We're telling it, we're commanding it, thou shalt do this. Okay? Okay, there we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay, boom. So that's what it is, okay? We're adding to the population a person with these attributes. And if there were more than one parameters per person, they'd occur successively here. Okay? Add population, and this is a draw from the immigrant weight distribution associated with their that will return their weight. Okay? Should we run this thing? Should we run it? Okay. So let's run this. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. So who are these people coming in?
You haven't identified them visually.
We haven't identified them visually clearly, but they are immigrants. They're immigrants coming in. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Okay, Winchell?
I think you need to stop for a second. We need to see some of that code again.
Okay.
So just go.
This is the code, Alan?
This ad, that was the one that was working on the lunch, and I was halfway in the middle of copying.
Yeah,
and
get
he
rid
said,
of it.
forget it. So then what do I do?
She's giving me an error on the statement.
Get rid of this chart.
Oh, I forgot the. Very good.
Yeah. Notice, ladies and gentlemen, we need these empty brackets. Why is that? What if we did this?
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it's expecting a particular weight, particular weight when we add the population in. It's expecting, when we're going to add them, it's expecting to have a, ladies and gentlemen, it's expecting to have a initial state provided. And if we are providing it with a distribution as a whole, it's going to be terribly confused. We need to draw from that distribution. That's why we need these begin paren, end paren. It draws from that distribution. And that gives us back a weight, which then add population uses to add the person with that weight. Are we okay with that?
How can we see the immigrants?
So the immigrant should be
There's a lot.
added here over time visually. If we run it, we should see something like this going on, where they're coming in.
Oh, you can.
They're not visually made highly distinctive right now, although we can make them so.
But they're new people.
They're new people. They're coming in as new people.
There's no other numbers that are showing how many are coming in.
You can see the population growing if
Yeah.
you look at your.
Because it's my total population size is staying fixed.
There's something wrong because like mine is going up here.
Yeah.
You notice my
Mine
population's.
isn't, but, okay, you have, this one here is going up, but your population size is staying fixed too at 100.
No. No, that's the initial population. Probably we should have called it initial population size. Good call. That should be initial population size. This population is of 495, 500.
Okay, I got it, that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, great call, and maybe I'll use that to teach a lesson. So what Dina pointed out is, look, population size right now stays at 100, even though people are coming in. That's kind of misleading, right? Because it says 100, but it's really changing population. This should really be initial population size. Now let me show you a way to change this that's straightforward, but a bit more involved, and then a really easy way to change it, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, we could go to this parameter in main, and we could type initial population size. Now, if we do that, are we done? What do we need to change? Well, it will tell us. If we try to build, it will say, I can't resolve this, and if we go Y, we'll see. This is referring to initial population size. Do you see that? So then we have to go, and we have to clean up each place it refers to it. Sorry? Yes. And that's about what I'm going to show you. So we could go, change this name, and then refer to every place that it refers to it. We could change that manually. Okay? Are we okay with that? Or there's a simpler way. I'm going to change this back. So the magic of Control Z, I'm going to change its name back. And I'm going to do it the fast way, to which Dina alluded just now. To wit, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to change this population size. I'm going to change its name and have it automatically update all the things to refer to it. How do I do that? I start typing its name, I give its new name, and then you'll notice this little thing that Dina noticed, where it'll say press Control Enter to perform refactoring, replace name occurrences. So if I want everything that refers to this to be automatically updated, I can press Control Enter, and it will go search for things that depend on this. And it'll take me through each of them and ask me, do you want to update it? Okay, so it's doing this right now, and for some reason it's taking a bit. I'm not sure why this is here. Here it is. Okay, it's saying, do I want to update this one from this to this? Yes. Now it's done, and it's referring here to the updated value. Okay? So that's how we do that. We use refactoring by pressing Control Enter when we're typing it, and that little light bulb will only come up when we're typing this, when we're changing the name. Are we okay with that? So that's a faster way to do it. It doesn't require me to go find everywhere else that refers to this and update them. Instead, it will find them itself and take me through them and ask, update this one, update that one, etc. Are we okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we have now immigration. Let us now put into place mortality. Where would mortality be found in this model?
At the person level.
The person level, because it's mortality for a person. Now, if the 5-day boot camp and we had lots of time, I would go probably put in place a principled mortality rate that would have two components. One from diabetic or not diabetic, and one from weight status. And it'd be easy enough to do. What I'm going to do is to put in place a mechanism that is going to, right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have a choice now. I could show you in this model a nice way to keep track of people's ages. And it's a really quite sweet way of doing it. And then have mortality depend on age. And then mortality multipliers, relative risks of mortality, hazard rate ratios associated, say, with weight, and another one with diabetes. Is that okay? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to, with this